Well, good morning and welcome to today's webinar, Announcing Your Christmas Services Online with Church360 Unite. This will be an overview webinar, so we'll touch on all of the core functionality of Church360 Unite, and we'll follow it all through this special theme of Christmas services and how to announce that as part of a comprehensive communication plan. My name is Peter Frank, and I am the Senior Manager of Concordia Technology Solutions. I've been with our group for a little over 5 years now, and with our organization for over 10. I've been building church websites since a very young age. Back in my early teens, I helped create my church's first website. So this kind of goes full circle for me. I love showing off how to use a tool like 360 Unite. We didn't have anything like this when I was building our first website back in the early 90s, or late 90s, I guess that would be. So it's a wonderful tool to use for people who are not really programmers, coders, web designers, if you will, which is most of our church workers. So thank you for being here and learning today. If you'd like to reach out to me at all, you can use my contact information on the screen, peter.frank@cph.org. My email is the best way to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you can call my office phone too. I've got that number listed. So a few housekeeping items before we go too far. First off, I've got planned for 50 minutes of presentation. Now, I typically go over that, so bear with me if I do. There's a lot to cover. I couldn't cover everything in the 50 minutes. I do have to leave some things out. I plan for 10 minutes of questions, but I do ask that you ask those questions throughout. I get a little queue up here that tells me how many questions I've got waiting for me. If I have a longer queue, then I'll try to be better about holding to that 50 minutes. If I have a shorter queue, then I may go a little over if I've still got information to share. So please ask throughout. That gets it off the top of your head and into my question queue. Now, the recording of this webinar will be shared after the fact. So if you are one of those who are watching the recording, welcome. Thank you for watching us afterwards. I'm sorry you couldn't be here live, but for those of you who are live, thank you for being here. You get the benefit of asking questions. A little bit about ourselves here at Concordia Technology Solutions. We are the Church Administration Division of Concordia Publishing House, and we have been producing software for churches since 1984. Our web-based products have been going on since 2004, so about 13, 14 years now. Member Connect was our first web platform, and we've kind of evolved into Church360 Unite, which takes everything a little bit farther. So we are the trusted provider of software for thousands of churches of all shapes and sizes nationwide. Today we're talking about Church360 Unite, and this fits into the larger picture of the product suite we call Church360. And we call it Church360 for complete church management. Unite being one component, works very well with the church management software side, Church360 members. I presented on that yesterday, so if you're interested in learning more about that, you can view the overview webinar I did yesterday morning. That's available on our YouTube channel and in our resource center. We also have Church360 Ledger, which is the financial side, managing your chart of accounts, all the money coming in and going out of the church. I'll be presenting on that Thursday morning if you're interested in learning more. But today our main focus will be on Church360 Unite. I may mention members a little bit, but it's not a requirement that you have all three of them to get good use of it. Each one will provide a little bit extra for the others, but they can all be used on their own. So the stuff that we'll show today is for Unite by itself. So just to give you that kind of heads up that there are additional things that you can get, and I'll touch on those a tad. All right, so what is Church360 Unite? If you're not familiar with this, and I know many of you who are here are customers, but if you're not familiar, it's a church website builder, and it allows you to do more than just websites. So there's a variety of things that you can manage. Certainly the website is the core part of it, but you can also manage your blog, your member hub, the place for members to log in and interact, file sharing. You can store things like meeting minutes or study guides or things like that. Your calendar, your master church calendar, and this is more than just a single calendar. This can be customized based on who is looking at the calendar or where they're looking at it. So we'll get into that a little bit today. That's one of our greatest features there. And lastly, being able to mass email. This could replace your paid mass email program if you have one of that, depending on how you use it. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end. So we call it Unite because it takes all of these things that could be separate products and combines them into one, and makes it easy to jump back and forth between these different features, and also makes it quite affordable when you consider how much is included in one solution. So I always make a few assumptions about those who are attending the webinars. My assumptions about you today are that you're at least familiar with church websites. If you have never touched a church website before, this might be a little bit advanced, or I should say we might move a little bit quickly for you. There's a lot that you want to know about church websites that we're not going to cover today. Basics, information you should include on every website, navigation, all that. We're not going to go into that in as much detail, but focusing on how to communicate Christmas services. So that's one of my assumptions. My other assumption is that you're new to Church360 Unite. If you've been using Unite for several years, you'll still be able to pick up on a few things, I'm sure. But for the most part, you'll know these things. Now, if you're new, even if you've been using it for a few months, I think there'll be quite a bit that you'll gain. And if you've never used it before, certainly you'll learn a lot. I'm also assuming you're extremely busy, and that's why we record these webinars. So if you need to step away or if you get interrupted, you can go back and look at this after the fact and share it with others at your congregation if you find that certain aspects are not what you need and you need to get back on with your day. So that is my assumption. We've got a good group here today. I'm going to put a few polls out there real quick just to validate some of my assumptions. One that we didn't talk about was your role at the congregation. So if you don't mind filling out and answering a few questions for me, that'll help me customize this presentation for you. So please select the option that most closely describes your primary role at church. So if you could let me know whether you're a pastor, administrator, called church worker, tech coordinator. Looks like we've got a few of several, so almost split across. So thank you very much for answering that. My next question will be if you are currently using Church360 Unite at your congregation. And that'll help me know how much detail to go into. All right, looks like we've got a split so far. I'll give that another second or so. All right, so it looks like we're pretty much split between customers and non, so that's good. All right, and for those of you who are not customers, obviously we invite customers to this. You know, this isn't going to be a big sales pitch. I'll give you information on how to subscribe or how to get started at the end. All right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and keep moving. The outline for today, first we're going to go over the overview of Church360 Unite and the main navigation and go through some of the core setup parts of it. We'll go through that pretty quickly. Then we're going to get into key communication tactics for rolling out your Christmas services to your congregation and to your potential visitors. That throughout all of it, there will be a tour of the software. So we're not going to go feature by feature and say what it is, but you'll see that as we go through it. And I'll certainly highlight the new things as we go. And finally, we'll have question and answers at the very end. So like I mentioned, I'm going to try to set aside 10 minutes for it, but please go ahead and let me know what you are thinking as we go through. So the key communication tactics that we're going to cover, and I'll do it in this order. First, we're going to create a planning team group for your Christmas services, and I'll show how this can be used in this particular setting. As I'm sure you'll be able to see, you can apply this in many different ways. Next, we'll invite users and get people started participating in the team. So we'll invite users to Unite, but then also users to the group. We'll set up worship events on the calendar and show how that rolls out to the master church calendar. We'll create a landing page of sorts. That'll be part of the group, but we'll show how you can use that page to direct people to where they need to go. Show you how to engage site visitors who come to your home page. This will be really basic, showing how to create a banner that links to other things, but that's some core functionality that is really easy to use, and I want to make sure to highlight that. We'll create a blog post and talk about how blogs are an important part of every church website. And finally, we'll show how to do a bulk email to the congregation. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch my screen over to this, and let me make sure that, there we go, that is up and running. I'm going to go ahead and hide my taskbar so that that's not always showing. All right, so this is Church360 Unite. This is a template website that I set up and for the fictional Crossway Church. And we're going to modify this a bit to show what you could do with your website. Now, certainly there's some graphics and stuff that don't come out of the box. They're unique to this situation, but there are some that do. So before we get into those, though, I want to draw your attention up to the very top, this black bar. This is our administrative toolbar. Only those who are administrators or publishers, which we'll get into in a bit on those roles, can see this. So not everybody who logs into your site can see this. But you can allow every member of your congregation to log in. And based on who is logged in, they'll see different things. So in the navigation, all under the far right, you'll see Welcome Peter. I've signed in here, and now I can participate. It knows who I am, so that's why I get this administrator bar. We're going to start off with settings and just go over a few key things. Depending on your plan, you can have certain amounts of storage space. We try to be very generous with that. There's church information here that get applied to like the footer and are consistently used throughout, so you're not always having to re-enter your church name. This is where you go to manage the calendars, and we'll look at that in a little while, at the types of calendars and who can see them. Right now we've got them set to nobody, but if you click on one, you can say, okay, everyone can view the worship calendar. And I think I'm going to change that to red or some colors like that. So it's really easy to use. Like I said, we'll look at that again in a little while. This is where you would set up your domain, and this is a one-time thing, and our team can help you with this if you haven't done this yet. The default is to have what we call a subdomain, so such as mychurch.360unite.com. Now you can purchase a domain if you have, or if you've already purchased it, you can apply that here. Depending on your plan, that might come with it. This is a one-time setup that gets into host settings and other things that are a bit too complicated for me, much less people who are not in this every day. So we try to make it as easy as possible. Same thing with analytics. We don't have reporting built into Unite because Google provides Google Analytics for free, and so we make it really easy to sync up with them, and they're constantly updating, constantly improving it. It's what we as an organization use for our website analytics. It's a tremendous tool, so we just make it really easy to get started with that. And lastly, there's the integration tab, which if you are using our church management software Shepherd Staff, you can sync with Church360 Unite. If you're using Church360 members, that sync happens automatically. You don't have to set that up. So that's just for our Shepherd Staff users. I won't be getting into that at all today. To the left of settings is themes, and this is a core part of the setup process. We provide a number of themes out of the box for you to use. I think we're up to 12 now. You can see those all listed there. We were 10 for a while. I almost said the wrong number, but today we're going to be using one of our newest themes, which we call Wonderful Cross. But you can click on any one of these themes and see what we call presets. These are different styles that go with the theme. So you can see how many different options there are. So like this one, Light, is one of my favorite ones. You can click and hold and see a preview of that. Now each one of these presets is based on the same theme, but it's different color schemes, different background images. So as we look at Wonderful Cross, what we're using today is this preset. We're going to change some of that anyways, but you could go with this more basic style, which is very straightforward, kind of a two-color approach. You could go with this one here, and they all look a little bit different, but they're all based on the same theme. And you can change these at any time. There's no fee associated with changing a theme. There's really very little work associated with changing this theme. You may want to customize it a bit to your preferences, and that's what we're going to look at next. So we'll come back to styles in a minute, but under Customize, you can see that it gives me a preview of my website, and it shows that background image. So let me actually close out of this and show what this looks like right now. We're going to do a quick refresh. Yeah, there we go. So there's all my images, my footer, and I have this background image. And as I click onto different pages, we don't really have too much content. You'll see that that background kind of collapses up in the navigation. That's how that theme works. And so what you have on the home page, you really want to be visible to everybody. So we're going to go to Themes and Customize, and we're going to change that background. And I'm going to upload a new image. I've already got it in here. To upload a file, I can just click there, and it'll take me here, in this case, to my desktop. I can also drag and drop. Now, I already have been testing to have this background here, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it and hit Save Changes. And you'll see that it changes the background to this kind of Christmas candlelight service theme. Now, you'll notice that my purple cross there is very hard to see. All I have to do is clear out that banner, and it'll put text there. And then I can change my heading color to something like white, and that'll make it more easily seen. Now, my footer is still going to be the purple. If I wanted to change that footer color, in fact, I've set a color aside up here that kind of ties in with the red in this image. I can just click on that, and you can't see this right now because the footer isn't displayed. But I'll change that there, and we'll click Save and close this out. And you can see now I've got my image here, my footer has changed. It's that easy to apply those different colors. I could also, I've got purple here on this wide screen. If I go into Customize, I could put that red there as well. I don't know if red would look as well as black, but it's going to be more visible in that example. So, see, there you go. So that's how easy it is to change this kind of image here. And again, this name, Crossway Lutheran Church, is in the settings. So themes customize will vary depending on which theme you pick, but it's really easy to modify to meet your needs. Now, you also can build a style guide for the text and the copy within your site, and that's what styles are here. So you see this theme already has it set up. If I wanted to go and create a new style, I can pick whether it's the inline or the block. So we'll call this highlighted. And if it inherits things, it takes it from the original theme that's designed or that's set up for you. And we can go in here and say, all right, if I want to highlight something red, you can't really see it here, it's a little small. I'll make this a little bit more red so it's noticeable. That's a little bit better. I could put that there. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And we'll come back to that a little later on. You'll see now I have a style called highlighted. So we'll come back and look at that, like I said. So those are some of the basic tools for picking the visual display of your site. There's a few other things that if you know what you're doing, you can use. There's what we call an advanced section, which allows you to add custom code to the site. I've added a few styles here just to change how the logo appeared. You can also add JavaScript at the bottom. If you don't know what any of that means, you don't have to worry about it. You can just ignore that section. If you are blessed with somebody on staff or a volunteer who knows a little bit and wants to help you with your website, they have that luxury of being able to go in here and make those modifications. Now, if you have somebody who's really advanced, you can go and what we call edit the theme is actually cloning the entire theme file, giving you access to all of the code and allowing you to modify it from there. Again, this is for our most advanced users, so we keep it kind of out of the way so that nobody accidentally does that. But it's available. We want to make sure that depending on your skill level, you have access to all the tools that you need. All right, so that is themes. Next, we're going to go over here to users. Now, you'll see here when I click on users, I'm the only one who's in here. Now, Unite is built to be a place for your members to log in and participate in discussions, see things that are private for the public. So if you put private information like phone numbers or email addresses out there, you don't want that to be on your public site. You want people to be able to see that, but they have to log in first. This is where you'd manage that. So you can go and add additional people here. And so I can say, John Doe at john.doe@cph.org. I can go and type in their name and email and add them. And so John gets added to that to the database. And right now he's set up to have no role, and that just he's automatically checked. So then I can go down here and click Change Role and say, what role do I give to John? Well, the user role allows him to log in and view private pages. The publisher role allows him to log in and edit pages. The designer role lets him not only edit pages, but also the theme, so that web designer kind of person. And then, of course, administrator can do everything. Now, we do limit the number of administrators you have on your account because it's really not necessary to have too many. Those other two roles, publisher and designer, will get you farther than, as far as you need in just about every other capacity. So we're going to just set John up as a user. And we click Update. Now John has received an email invitation to join Unite. And it'll direct him right into the login screen. He'll create a password. So that process is pretty quick and easy. Now, if you are doing that for your entire church, that might take a little while. And so under Add People, we've built in this ability to bulk import users. Now there's a CSV template that you can download and use for your church. And it's a very, very basic spreadsheet, essentially. And let's see why that didn't. Oh. Oops. Let me go try that again. It downloaded. Open. It was because I had a cell open over here. All right, let me pull that over. So you can see here just a very basic CSV file, first name, last name, email. Probably hard to see from that size. You just fill in that information. You can export it from your church management software, paste it in. When you go to import it, and I already put together a file, all you do is click on the file, and it just pre-populates this list for users. And then I just click Add, and it'll create all those people. Depending on how many you have, it may take a second. It'll auto-select them, so then I can just go straight here to change role, invite them as users, go update, and it'll send them all invitations. Now you can see here their roles have changed, and it says invited less than a minute ago. I can always resend the invitation here. So all of that is great. I also have here listed and unlisted, and I'll show you what that means. We'll come back to that this view in a second. So when I X out of here, I go back to my main page. There is a members section, an out-of-the-box page called members, which is your member directory. And so I can go in here as an administrator and see everybody that is in here. Now under users, they're all marked as listed. If I wanted to unlist them, I just click on a few of them, click unlist, and now they're unlisted. So when I go back to the members page, refresh, there's fewer people there. So that way you can have as many people as you'd like, and users can do that as well on their end to mark themselves as unlisted and just have the directory of people who want to be on the directory. Or maybe you have non-members who log in, like often the church administrator will not be a member of the church, and so they want to be able to update the website, but they don't want to be listed in the member directory. That's one practical example for why you might want somebody not listed. Now members, once they log in, can go up and edit their own profiles. So like this is my profile. If I click edit my profile, I can update my information. I can add a phone number. I'll put my work number in there. I can say I'd like to be seen in the membership directory, and I'll go ahead and update that. It's that simple. It's a great way to get the most up-to-date information from your members. And they can also edit their own picture. And we connect with a tool called Gravatar, which allows you to select your picture as well. So I'll go ahead and update my profile photo. And we'll look at some of these other things in a little bit. what we have done now is we have laid the groundwork for everything that we're moving forward. We've set up our site, we've modified it to be a Christmas theme, we've added users. Now as we begin to get into this communication plan for Christmas services, we're ready to go. We've got everything that we need. So the first thing we're going to do is create a group for the planning team for Christmas services. And this group will serve double duty, and I'll show you that in just a second. So we'll go up here to Pages. Now on the left-hand side you have your active menu items, and on the right-hand side you have your available menu items. You'll see that this is set up into a nice tree format, and most of the pages are set to draft. Now what that means is that you can go and modify these pages at any time while it's in draft status, and no one in the public will see it. In fact, nobody who's a user will see it. Only administrators will see it. So when I go here and click Sign Out, when I come to this website, there's only two options here, Home and Connect. So when I log in as an administrator, I'll see everything that's there. There we go. So then as I go into Pages here, I could mark some of these and publish them and remove them from being draft status. Now I can also go and mark some pages. Let's see here. Well, there's probably not a lot on there. We'll do the Children's Ministry page. I'll publish that, but now I'm going to mark it as private. And that will just be available for members only. So any member can log in and see that. It's not a draft status, so anybody who has credentials can see it. But the people who are not logged in would not see that. And the members directory, which we just showed a minute ago, that is always set to members only. You can never make that public. You can't accidentally set that to be available on the internet. It's just there for people who log in. Alright, so to create new pages or new categories, you go up to the top left. You've got Add Category there or Add Page. When you click Add Page, you have three types of pages. There's the regular page, which in this case we're going is a blank page. There's these pages down here that are blank or that are set to regular pages but have helpful starting text for you. There's a blog post, which we call a feed page. So you can have as many different feed pages as you want, and we'll look at those in a bit and how you might use them. What we're going to start off with is what's called a group page, and a group page becomes like a site within a site. Let's go ahead and create that, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to call this Christmas Service Plan. Actually, Christmas. I gotta spell it right too. We'll just call it Christmas Services. So that is a members only page. We're not going to put that in the navigation right now, but it has created this group, and when I click on the link underneath it, it'll take me to that group, which doesn't look too exciting right now, although you'll notice that I have my own navigation here. So Christmas Services is what we call this group. The main page name shows here. It also shows over here, which is a link to this page. So if I click on this, it'll just take me right back to that page. You've got discussion, events, members, and then some administrative tools. So we'll get into that. First, though, I want to show you how to edit this page. And this will be a similar experience for all pages and blog posts within the site. So when I click over here on the far left, it says Edit Page. I click that and it changes, it pulls open this Edit Page section here on the left. I can change my layouts. And it may be a little bit hard for you to see. I know sometimes these are a bit small during the webinars, but I have these different blocks here where I can put content in them. I can also do one, we've got them with different, you know, that first one was 50-50, this one's more like a 60 or 70-30. I can do it with 3 different levels. I'm just going to start off with this block though, and I'm going to erase the home. I'm going to go ahead and add an image. So to add an image, this is what we call our WYSIWYG toolbar. What you see is what you get. It's very similar to what you'll see in like Outlook or Gmail. It's like writing an email. Word processors all have this as well, Microsoft Word and others. So we try to make it as easy as possible. All you have to do is click the image button and allow me to upload an image. And I've got this here, which is my group banner for Christmas. And I'll go ahead and plug that in, and there we go. So that is my the first image I want people to see. Now I also have, and I should have opened it up before, I have some copy to put in there about our service times. So pardon me while I wait for that to open. Sometimes it takes a little while for, so I put the text in here, and I'm going to go in and I'll paste it in. And so it's that simple. It goes with the styles of my site, so it matches nicely. And then I can modify it from here using the tools within Church360 Unite. So I've got my TH stand there, although it's giving me, there we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a bulleted list. And remember, I created that style before. You can change the style by selecting text and going here to styles, and it gives you your different block styles like headings. It also gives you your inline styles, and there is my highlighted inline style. When I click on that, you'll see now that is red. So if I wanted to click on all of these and mark them as highlighted in red, I could do that. There's a lot of great tools in here that are like standard WordPress or word processors, and so I'm not going to click on that. But I did want to show you here, if you are a web designer, you can click on Source and view the code. And so you have access to make whatever changes you need. So for me, this is very helpful because I know some HTML and I like to make some modifications from a code standpoint, but if you don't use the code, you don't have to. You can just do it all in here. Over on the left, you have the ability to change the URL. We're going to change the status from draft to publish. You can also put a meta description. If you want this to show up in search engines, that's what would be put in the search engine. So we'll click Save, and we'll go out of Edit Page. And now this is our home page, our landing page of sorts, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, what a landing page is for our Christmas services. Now there's a few other pages in this type of, in this group here. We've got the discussion, which allows people to have conversations in here. I've been set up as the group leader, and so I can post announcements or prayer requests or other things in there. To add members, I would go to this members section, and I can invite people who are users in the software. So I can either add them automatically or invite them, which would send them an email. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few people. There's John Doe, Larry Clifford, Steve Keller, Haley Dane. So I can put all of those people in here, and they are now group members. I can also select somebody and change their role to leader. And so now both myself and Steve are leaders in here. Leaders have access to view everything that I'm doing, whereas group members have more limited access. So we'll look at that in just a second. The events section is the group calendar, and this allows me to create events for the people in this group. So because this is our Christmas services, we're going to go over here and go to December 24th and click on that. And now you can see my new event page. Now if you've created an event in Google Calendars or Outlooks, this will be very familiar to you. So we're going to do this first one, which I'll just go back and copy this. This will be the preschool program. Preschool program, and then we'll call that one From Heaven Above. That's the theme this year. And you'll see by default it's added to the Christmas services calendars. I can also add it to the worship calendar because it is a worship service. So it's in both of these calendars. Each calendar has a different permission level. We'll look at that in a bit. So we'll go ahead and say this is going to be in the sanctuary on December 24th at 4 o'clock till 5 o'clock. It's not an all-day event. It doesn't repeat. I could put a description and paste that there. And then I can invite people to the event. So when it's a group event, I can invite everybody who is in the group or a subset of that. So we'll go ahead and hit select all. I'll just invite everybody. And I can also set reminders for those people that I've invited. So if they haven't accepted the invitation, they will get reminders to accept it. Once they accept the invitation, they can change the reminders to be whatever they want it to be. So if they don't want to be reminded, they can remove it. And if they want to be reminded more frequently, they can add more reminders to it. So we'll just do 1 day before and 1 week before, and we'll create that event. All right, that event has been created, and you can see that now on the calendar. So we'll look at the master church calendar in a little bit, but what I want to do right now is go into the edit this group area. So when I click edit this group, I've got the overall group settings. So I've got Christmas services as the title, the description. I'll go ahead and just copy that in there. Then I have an opportunity to add pages. We'll look at that in just a second because it really ties into this next section. Group details are visible too. There are 5 levels of permissions here. You can have, first off, we have a home page. Every group has a home page. That was what we added the banner to. So the home page we want to make available to the public. The discussion we want to make available to only group members. The events, the calendar page, we want to make available to all Unite users. And the members page, we only want the people who are group leaders to see that. So I've got these 4 different pages, and I can select 4 different permission levels. So again, depending on who's logged in, what they'll see will be different. And I can also say who can join this group. And I'm going to put only people I have invited, because you can make it a public, sorry, not public. You can make it an open group that people who are logged in can join. The public-facing side never has any kind of ability to sign up or join a group or join an event or anything like that. So I'll go ahead and update that. And my group settings have been updated. It takes me back to the home page. I'm going to go back to edit this group. I'm going to add a page. So one thing that you might want to do for planning Christmas services is to share your music with leaders beforehand. So we'll click music and we'll do add page, and that gets put in here as a draft. I can have all of these pages available to me, and I can put up to 3 more in the navigation. You'll see the navigation is already a little long, but if I click on that, oops, save that. If I click the checkbox, music will get added right below events. And I'll go ahead and update the group, and it takes me to the home page. When I click edit this group, now I can see music is also listed here under group details are visible to. So if I wanted to share some information that doesn't really fit with the home page, discussion, events, or members, I can create a brand new page, set a brand new set of permissions, and put it there. So we'll go ahead and select music being available to all members and update that group. And then I'll go over here to music and click on that. And it defaults with the description. So when I click edit page, the next thing that I can do now is put music information in here. So I went ahead and I got a link to a YouTube video for some music that CPH has produced. And you'll see that right there. I'm not going to pause it before it starts playing. Oops, I think it's already starting to play. There we go. Oh Holy Night by John Banky. And when I go in here, like in YouTube and many of the other ones, there's a share. And oops, I can go ahead and click the embed. And it gives me this code that I need, and I'll copy the code. Now this may be a little bit technical. Don't worry, you don't have to understand what it means. You just have to know how to copy it. You can also click copy right there. And when I go back to my website, all I have to do is go in here and click this little embed media button. And I can just paste the code right in there and click OK. And now my YouTube video is shown in there. Now you can upload your own videos and stuff to here, although if you're using other music, you may not have that file available, but you may have a link to a code like this. So that's just one more way that you can put things in here. The other thing we can do is we won't create another page for this right now, but I'll show you. If I go back to the home page and click edit, I can do something like download a sample of the service. And I'll select sample of the service and click link. And you have many different options for links. We'll look at this before in terms of linking to pages, but one of the things you can put in here is a file that users can download. And it switches this to be a upload box, and I'll click upload, and I've got a PDF here of our early childhood program Christmas service, and I'll just select that and click OK, and we'll click save. And now people can download a PDF right from my site. There we go. So that is showing the sample from heaven above. So those are just a few different ways that you can use this site to be that file share, whether that is a PDF like this, it could be a Word document, you can share videos like I did. Certainly you can share photos. If you wanted to put a photo gallery in here, you could upload those photos in here. Lots of different uses, and again, because it's like a site within a site, this is its own environment. So you as the administrator or pastor of the church, I know we've got several in here, can choose to delegate this task to somebody else. You don't have to be the one doing it. Even if you're the webmaster, you can delegate that to someone else. All right, so we've done all that. Let's go ahead and look at how events roll over into the rest of the site. So if I go to Menu, and I go to Connect and Calendar, you can see here that my event from the calendar shows up over here under, on the correct day, it's under Worship and Christmas Services. Now, I only have 2 calendars available, and each one has that event. So let me go back here to Settings and Calendars, and I'll make a few more events public. So fellowship events and education events, and we'll change education to orange and fellowship to blue, and close that. So, oops, let me refresh that. Sometimes when you make setting changes in X-Out, you have to refresh to get them to take effect. So now I have more calendar options that are available. If I log out, actually, there we go, connect to calendar. If I log out, I still see that because it's available in my worship one. If I deselect worship, it doesn't show up. But you'll notice that that Christmas services group doesn't show because that is a group on the site, and we had set the calendar to not be available for everybody. So we'll go ahead and sign in again. That's what's so nice about having multiple calendars, is that you can set public calendars and private calendars and put events on both. So that's how you do the calendars. Let's go back there real quick. Go back to calendar, go to the event. When I click on the event, it shows that description. I can add it to my calendar. I can I can invite a friend. You have all these different options. And then if I was in the group calendar, so let me go back here. Actually, I haven't linked to the group yet. And go to events. Click on it, you get that same experience. You can also have different comments you could put on there. You can see the participants. You can say, I'm going, and see who all is going. You can see those who have been invited, all because I'm logged in and part of that group. All right, we'll keep going because I'm already at 10:44. The next thing I want to do is go to the home page. We talked about engaging visitors to the site and directing them to more information. So if I go here to edit page, I get the same experience, and I'm going to go and click underneath our mission statement here and insert a picture. And I'll go ahead and upload, and I have a main banner. So I'll double click that. That'll upload for me. I'll select it and click OK. There is my main banner, and I've got that call to action of get the details. If I click on the image itself and then click link, I can say a page or feed in my site. And it gives me a drop down of all of those pages, including at the very bottom the group Christmas services. So I can click OK, and I'll click Save. And that way, when I close out of this, I can click on this and go directly to that group. Now, if I was logged out of the site, let's go ahead and sign out. Go to the home page. I still get that banner because it's a public-facing site. I click Get the Details, and it goes here, and I can see the home page but nothing else because of the permissions. So this group serves dual purposes. It serves as your place for planning, but also your landing page, your place where you want people to go to learn more. Now, I probably would put more information than what's on here, especially for visitors, but it's to show that that can serve both purposes. Let's go ahead and log in again. And now we're going to go and create a blog for this. So when we go back up to pages, and not a blog necessarily for the Christmas service, but we'll create a blog post for that. But we're going to create a blog for let's say, we'll just call it announcements. We've got a news and announcements template in there, but we'll create a feed page called announcements. And I'll move that over here, and I'll take this one off. In fact, I'll select that, and yeah, there we go, delete it. I had my microphone in the way, so I couldn't see that. All right, we'll delete that. And we'll save these changes. All right, there we go to announcements, and you'll notice that this looks a little bit different. So feeds are syndicated content or structured content that allows the latest information to always be at the top. As an administrator or as a publisher, I could also do this. I can go to Edit Page, and it'll allow me to create a new post. And we'll put Christmas services. And I will go back and get my copy and paste that in there. You probably wouldn't want to have the exact same copy for everything, but that's okay. There we go, that looks a little bit better. I'll go ahead and make those bullet points, and then I'll say learn more. And I'll make that a link to my, oops, wrong thing. Make that a link to my group, doing the same thing, a page or feed within my site. Group Christmas services. And I'll put that, and I'll schedule that to go live, at 11 o'clock today. So that's how I can create a blog post. It's that simple. Now I can link people to this blog post. So if I click on here, I'll have this separate blog post that works great in search engines because of the way the URL is structured. And when people click Learn More, they can go here right back to my landing page. Now I can also use what's called a group widget. So we'll go back to edit this post. Here in the toolbar, there's this little group. It says Add Group. I've got 3 different options for this group widget. I only have one group right now, so it makes it really easy to select it. If I select small, it'll just put the group title there. If I select medium, it'll put the group title and the description there. And if I select large, it'll do all that plus the leaders of the group. So this is especially beneficial for things like a ministries page, or maybe it's upcoming Bible studies, or boards in the congregation. It makes it really easy to have this listing of all the available groups that are updated at the group level themselves. So as leaders change, you would show those changes automatically. So that's what the group widget does, and it could be used in a few different ways. Like I said, if you wanted to just do the small widget, for one, it's a quick collection, or a quick link to that page. But you could also just say, learn more by clicking the link below. That's not great copy, but it's just to prove the point that you can direct people to that link and they'll go to it. And their experience will, again, be based on if they're logged in or not and who they are. All right, so we'll save that. The last thing I want to show, because I'm running out of time, I'm at that 10:50 mark, although I don't have any questions in the queue. So if you have questions, now would be a great time to put that in there. But we're going to go up to the email section. So under users, there's what we call mailing lists. And it defaults to a group of everyone. And that means everybody who's set up under users is on this list. But I can create additional mailing lists. So we'll call this Christmas list. Create that mailing list. And when I click on it, you'll see in here that I have the option to add different people to the list, or even a group to the list. And we'll save that. Then if I wanted to put like worship ministry, I can create a new mailing list, and included in that I can do other people or other mailing lists. So you can start to create this hierarchical structure. So for example, we have a church council. If we have an all boards Christmas party coming up. So I could create a board for the Board of Elders, and then I could create an all boards group that includes that mailing list Board of Elders. Now if somebody is in multiple lists and you go in here, and they're not going to get the email twice. They're only going to get it once. So it condenses it so that each person gets it regardless of how many reasons they show up on the list. Now when I want to send an email, I could click multiple lists. I could click the checkbox on multiple lists or just one, and then I go down here to email. Now this is going to open my default email client, which for me is Outlook. And within that email, in the to, it says worship ministry, and then this really long code, which you probably can't see. It's going to be really small on your screen. It's what we call a GUID. It's just a random assortment of letters and numbers that have now been identified to mean these specific email addresses. Now when I go and send this email out, it goes to our servers, and then we send it out one at a time to everybody on the list. It's what we call our email relay service. This allows them to not come across like spam. Many email providers will not accept emails that are sent to multiple people. And that's why we use this relay service. It's sent to one person at a time. This is the same kind of philosophy that any of the major mail servers like MailChimp or Constant Contact, they use that same idea. So we're using it too, but we're just including that within Unite. What's also great about this is that that functionality is available in your group as well. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to members. And this is why you may want to make it so that not all members of a group have access to the members page. But you can just go in here and click email all. Oops, apparently I'm trying to run Office again. So yep, it's giving me trouble. Sorry about that. That's a Microsoft problem. Well, that's okay. But regardless, you have the ability to go in here and quickly email people, either email selected or email everybody in the group. And it uses that same email relay service. You don't have to be an administrator to do that. Now, depending on who you are, you may not have access to this users list, so the only way you can do it is by going to a group. And that's to protect people's privacy, so that not everybody in the church has the access to email everybody. That would not be a good way of going about it. All right, so I know I covered a lot. We hit all of our targets. I got through my outline surprisingly in the order that I planned. That doesn't always go that way. Let's go ahead and, if you have any questions, go ahead and submit them at this time. So if you are brand new and haven't started Unite yet, you can start a free 30-day trial at 360unite.com. And that'll give you access to all of the tools within Unite, but it'll limit you to a certain amount of files. I believe it's 500 megabytes, and only one administrator. But it gives you full functionality to everything else. So I encourage you to do that. If you'd like to speak more about Unite or learn more, you can talk with me or any of our software consultants. They'd be happy to see if Unite is a good fit for you. And then if you If you have already spoken with us and you want some additional help, we'd be able to help you, or we can put you in touch with our support team. Now, obviously, church websites are a very broad topic. So while you're thinking of any questions, I'm going to show you a few other tools that you might be able to take advantage of. One thing I'll hear frequently is that, you know, these websites look so nice, but it's because of the images that you use, and I don't have a way to do images. Well, let me show you a few tools that we use regularly. One of them is called Canva, and it is an online image editing tool, and they've got a free plan and they've got paid plans as well, but the free plan is fantastic. It allows you to quickly and easily upload images, add graphics, add text, do different kind of photo processing that you might get out of a big product like Adobe Photoshop, but it's real simple and easy to use. So that is Canva, CANVA.com. We're not associated with them in any way, I just like them. Then there's also Lightstock, which provides stock photos for you. And I would not recommend using too many stock photos of people, because if you're using photographs of people, then you should take photos of the people of your congregation. You want to be accurate. But if you go to Christmas and search, we'll see if their site is, there we go. You get all of these different Christmas images. Now, they do charge for them, as you would expect. You know, they have photographers who need to get paid for their work. But you can see that's where I got this imagery from over here on the far right. There we go. And we have a plan. They're relatively inexpensive and create nice graphics. They're a great place to go. The last thing I wanted to show you was if you go to our website, concordiatechnology.org, and go to the Resource Center, we have a lot of great free resources available for you. We have plenty of blog posts. We have ebooks. But if you go under Communication and Website, you can see all of these articles related to church websites. And there's a lot of great things there. We have authors from all over our church who post things. And websites are just one of the many topics we talk about. So you can go to our website, concordiatechnology.org, and click Resource Center, or you can just go to resources.concordiatechnology.org. All right. Well, we are just about at our time, and I don't have any questions, so that must mean I covered everything, which I highly doubt. More likely, I overwhelmed you with information and you're still processing it. But if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to me at my email address, peter.frank@cph.org, or you can call me, and most likely you'll have to leave a message, but I always get back to you within 24 hours or so. And our software consultants' information is on there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned about how you can use Church360 Unite to communicate your Christmas services, both to your members and also to your community. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.